I'm ready.
Well, Joseph, congratulations. Welcome back to the UFC. I guess, I know it's like happened like just a few minutes ago, but I guess what are the emotions right now after what you went through here?
Um, I'm speechless, to be honest. I can't describe it yet, but it's like, I've been dreaming about this moment a long time. The Ultimate Fighter is what got me, excuse me, into fighting. I was watching it, a long time ago with my pops, and just a lot of emotions to be the Ultimate Fighter, and then with the new deal with Paramount, like this could be the last Ultimate Fighter, and so it's just such a good feeling, dude. It's amazing.
In terms of the fight itself, you were a pretty sizable underdog coming in here, and it seems like from beginning to end, it was your fight. So is that how you actually saw the fight playing out in there?
I mean, I just felt like I was the best. I said it before the interview. I was the best fighter, on the show, and I felt like my technique was way better, my striking was better. He couldn't grapple with me. I just knew I had him beat everywhere. And then I think I felt him after the first takedown, where I started getting him into the half guard. I hit him with a good elbow, and he just felt like I seen him open his guard to try to get up, and I was like, yeah, he's done. And then when I had the choke at the end of the round, Uriah and my coach Joey, and I could hear Chael there too, they were just yelling like, dude, put the pace on him right now. Now it's time to break him. And and then once we hit the ground, and I could kind of feel him slowing down. And usually what happens is like if I ever give up guard, most people are like, oh yeah, now it's my chance. He didn't do any of that, and the triangle was just like piece of cake.
It just seemed like he's obviously a young fighter, and you've experienced these lights before. Some people on the internet are like, "Oh, the stage got to him, and this is nothing new for you." So, did you feel that in there, like just kind of his energy, like
Who's saying that?
No, they're saying
They're saying that.
the internet is like, "Oh, the moment got to this guy, and your experience shone through."
That's not my fault, dude. If the moment got to him, that's not my fault. That's a him problem. It is an advantage because like the first time I did fight in the card, like in the UFC Mexico, there was so many emotions and just the lights and the music and everything. We're the same age. We're 30, so he's young. Yeah, I'm young too. But like we're like kind of identical. In matchmaking, the record. He's never lost before. I've lost on the big stage. To me, it felt like this was my chance. Like, if I lost, they're not going to call me back because I already had the opportunity. And for him, maybe, like, if, he does lose, he's probably going to get a call back. He's a great fighter. He put on a good show throughout the whole season. And, I do feel like him having a whole country behind him and me having, like, a small community in Elk Grove and Sacramento behind me is two different things. Like, I feel like he feels like he needs to do something for his country, and for me, it's just like, nah, man, I just want to make my supporters proud.
And how do you want this run of your UFC, this UFC run for you?
Oh, this is the start of a title run right here. This is the start of a title run. I know I said that the first time I was here, but, dude, I've been working my fucking ass off. Like, I don't think I've ever trained harder for a fight. I had to take days off. I had to, make sure I'm doing recovery and just, pushing your body to those limits and, making sure that I was 100% to come into this fight. And I was the closest to 100% I think I've ever been in my entire career.
When do you want to fight again, I guess?
I want to, check out some injuries and stuff like that, the things that I've been kind of pushing throughout camp. And just, make sure everything's good. I mean, Noche UFC would be fucking sick.
That's what I was about to ask.
That'd be fucking sick. But, if not, I do want to fight maybe in, like, October or November and just kind of keep this, like, every 3 months thing would be amazing. And just, keep it healthy and just keep running. And, like I said, the end goal is the championship, and as close as we could get to that.
Your division specifically is rewarded like activity, like Josh fights like 5 times in a year. He's all of a sudden in a title fight. Is that how you kind of want your career moving forward?
I would love to. I would love to be like that. Realistically speaking, like I think that's very doable, and that's the plan. Like just to stay active. I took too many layoffs, like as a kid early in my career, and now it's like, okay, well now we got to start just being smart, push through, take the days off that I need to do, and make it to the fights when it's time. Yeah.
Just what did Chael mean in this whole process? You had some time from the end of the season to tonight, and what tips did he give you to head into this return?
Is he still here? Yeah, he's still here. No, dude, Chael is fucking amazing. Throughout the camp, he would just send me a message and ask me how I was doing, or he would call me and just be like, "Hey, how's camp? How's things going?" And he believed in me, and he's a really just a great person. And even behind in the backstage, he was just kind of telling me like, "Hey, dude, like, this is your time. Like, this is your thing. Like, go in there, do your best. Everybody's proud of you already, and everybody believes in you. And now it's just time to make it happen." So, um, you know, Chael, thank you, dude. I appreciate it. Love you, man. I would say he's like a big brother, but he's more like an uncle. He's a good guy. I'm glad he's on my team.
All right, just a couple from me. I know you want to get to your family and everything. When you walked out, you were soaking it all in, yelling at the crowd, roaring at the top of your lungs and everything. Were you a little worried about maybe an adrenaline dump of any kind?
What? Nah, dude. I had my adrenaline dump backstage. I usually, it's kind of embarrassing, but I cry before every fight. I just try to make peace with, anything could happen in that cage, and you kind of have to sacrifice your life to be victorious in there, and just accept anything that can happen. Injuries are a big part of this game, and I just want to go back and be healthy and go see my family. This is the first fight where my wife, my mom, and my oldest got to come. My baby stayed at home with my mother-in-law, but it's the first UFC fight my family's ever got to go to, so it's a big deal for me, and I feel like coming in here, I won already. Like, I was a winner. I got to bring my kid out here, his first UFC fight ever, and my wife got to come, and my mom, she, all the sacrifices she made, and driving me back and forth to the gym, and everything that my family's gone through when we were kids, and it's an amazing moment, and it kind of came full circle. And my dad couldn't be here, but I know he was watching. He was super proud back home. He was texting me and calling me and just giving me kind words. And, he's the reason why I started getting into the sport. And so, I just want to give a big shout out to him, too.
There you go, man. So your oldest was here. He got to see it and everything. Still 8 years old. Doesn't really maybe not understand like the gravity or the weight of the moment, right?
Yeah.
Especially the little one though. When you look back one day, and you sit them both down, be like, "Hey, this is what happened." You tell them your story. What lesson do you want them to take away from that?
Man, like I said, I was backstage and I started crying because I saw they showed the preview for the fight, and they showed me and him training, and that's just something that I want him to remember for the rest of his life. Like, I want him to be proud of me, and I just want to set an example for my kids, both of my boys. They're gonna see that footage and they're gonna be like, "Man, my dad was on TV." Like, they don't even care why, but I feel like in the grand scheme of things, when my son is, if he wants to be a professional athlete or whatever he wants to do, like, he'd just have that championship mindset and be the best you could be at anything you want to do.
All right, last one for me. This title run you want to go on. You're gonna bring him, at least your oldest, along with you.
Oh, bro, yeah. So you said one more time?
Oh, so it's like with this title run you want to go on. You're gonna bring your oldest along with you now that he's training with you and everything.
Oh, dude, yeah. He's I signed him up for a jiu-jitsu tournament already in a couple months. So he didn't have a choice really, because if it was up to him, he wouldn't compete. But he loves jiu-jitsu, and it's a great bonding experience. Ever since I came back from the show, he's been asking about fights and talking about fights. And hey, when can I meet Chael? Do you think Chael would pick me on the team? Like, am I gonna be on the team? And the first thing he did when he seen Chael was like, "Hey, how come you lost the coach's challenge?" And just kind of like an 8-year-old, just kind of asking whatever's on his mind. So it's a great experience to have him. And I don't want him to be a fighter. That's just if he wants to and he chooses to, like, I'll 100% support it. But I feel like my youngest is actually going to be the fighter.
Congrats, man.
Thank you.
First of all, congratulations.
Well, yeah.
Sorry about that.
No, you're good.
But the crowd showed you some major support tonight. How did it feel to have that crowd behind you, especially as the fight was progressing?
Man, there were so many things I wanted to say to the crowd. Dude, Chicago has been fucking amazing. Like, this city's beautiful. There's so many awesome sights. The food has been amazing. I know there's a huge Hispanic community out here, and I just wanted to put on, an exciting show for them, and show my Hispanic roots. And I'm a proud Mexican, but I was born here, and I was raised here, and I've been blessed to be raised in the United States. But I still like to represent that Mexican culture and that's Mexican fight style.
As a Mexican journalist, I appreciate that so much.
Yeah.
But you were the aggressor the whole entire fight. Was that a decision you made before the fight or as the first round had just started?
Man, this was a decision that I made the first day of evaluations, like, you know, on the show. Chael could attest to this, but the first day of evaluations, Chael came up to me and he said, "Hey, you know, how do you think you're gonna do in the show?" And I said, "I'm gonna win it. I'm gonna be in the finals." And he was like, "Okay, well, who do you think you're gonna have in the finals?" And I said, Alibi. Alibi was gonna be my opponent in the finals. And, you know, I knew that from the start. And then I tried to keep that same energy, the same mentality the whole time throughout the whole show. Against Chapolin, I came in and I was in his face the whole time. In Manel, I was winning every time I started the exchange going forward. And I just wanted to, you know, it's hard to fight backwards. And I wanted to keep that, you know, going into this fight. And I knew Alibi's a dangerous fighter. He throws a bunch of crazy spinny shit. He hit me with the spinning back kick. And, you know, thankfully my gloves were up there. But you know, he was throwing elbows and crazy things, and it's hard to do that when you're going backwards. So that was the game plan. Whoa!
Just last thing from me.
You're fired, dude.
Last thing from me. Do you have a message for the rest of the 125 division?
Just be ready, dude. Be ready. I'm used to being the underdog, so, you know, I'm glad that I was a 3-1. What was it, 3-1 underdog or some shit like that? Like, that's crazy. That's crazy. UFC veterans, dude, they put me like that, so I'm used to it, though.
Joseph over here. Congrats on the victory.
Thank you.
You're a team alpha male OG. You and Uriah Faber have been working together for so long. Now you've just won the Ultimate Fighter. What's your earliest memory with him?
My earliest memory with Uriah is the first one. The first time I ever met him. We were in a small gym in Sacramento, local gym. Ultimate Fitness wasn't a thing yet. It wasn't even an idea for Uriah yet, but there was this team called the Capital Fighting Alliance. If you're, you know, an OG, like, you know this team. And it was just like Scott Smith, James Irvin, and a couple other like local legend Sacramentans that would just fight at Gladiator Challenge. And I was training at this small gym and doing jiu-jitsu, and my kids class instructor was actually Uriah's partner. Shout out Dustin Akbari. And he introduced me to Uriah, and Uriah signed my gi. And I thought Uriah was famous because, you know, he's on these posters, these fight posters all around the gym. And, you know, so I was like, oh, I'm going to get his autograph. And he signed my gi. I still have the gi with the giant Uriah California Kid signature on it. So, yeah.
Do you think Uriah is going to ask you for an autograph after tonight?
Nah, probably not. Probably not. He's got plenty of pictures with me, so, you know, I'll buy him dinner or something.
Congrats on the victory.
Thank you. Nice.